Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today we're going to talk about finding your purpose. And this is this is a love-hate relationship for me when it comes to finding purpose. So honestly, I feel like it's cliche. Now like some people, some people would say that, that's your purpose and your purpose. And I think that I just it doesn't hit for me. And I think that that's one of the reasons I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Soul, the Disney movie. The little guy, the little dead guy, he was like talking to one of the Jerrys and he's like, what was her purpose? And he's like, purpose, excuse me. He's like, her spark, her purpose. What was it? Music? Was it this? And he's like, a spark isn't a soul's purpose. Where did you get that idea? And he's like, well, mine's music. He's like, we don't assign purposes. That's so basic. And meanings of life. It's so basic. And I really want you to step back and be like, do I want this purpose? Or is this a spark? Or, just going from the movie, or is there something deeper to life in a sense of why can't enjoying life be the meaning of life? So just hear me out. You don't have to agree with what a purpose is. And I know that a lot of people, they love knowing that they have a purpose. It makes them feel determined. It helps push them, especially you cardinals and you fire signs. Like you have this purpose and you must go forth. I'm talking to you, Aries. It is, I don't know, to me, it's something, living life is the meaning of life. Anyway, you want to find a purpose. You want to find your spark. You want to find your connection, your meaning. Let's talk about it. Let's first talk about what is your why? What is your why to all of this? I know in the last episode, I talked about finding your why to your self-discovery journey. When you look at that why, does it align with how you want your life to look? Because at the end of the day, how do you want your life to be? That should be supporting by your why and why you're on the self-discovery journey anyway. What is the goal at the end of all of this? And is your goal to have, materialistic things? Is your goal to have a whole bunch of money? Is your goal to be happy? And what does that happiness look like? How much money is how much money? Like how much money is enough money to say that you've completed this goal? How much material items is it going to take for you to say I'm completed? Or is it, I want to be able to do what I want. I want to be able to be free. Or is it, I want to be able to be home with my children, or I want to be the CEO of my corporation, or, anything. I want to save the world from plastic. Honestly, all of these are great goals. So then let's align your why with this goal. And then that way you can understand, how do these align with your purpose? And I've been asked before, how do I know if this is my purpose? How do I know if I found it? And I think it's something that we just know. We just know. I know recently, like I said, I thought I found my purpose multiple times. And I think my struggle was I didn't understand that it was allowed to shift. I didn't realize that the clarity keeps rolling. And it's you gotta just keep it going, keep saying, or just keep it going and keep letting yourself grow as your purpose is clarifying itself to you. Because then it literally just keeps pulling you on your journey. One of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is to allow the universe to come to me instead of running towards it, running and battling towards it. Because when I run towards it, it's like I cannot see what's around me. I don't know what I'm supposed to receive versus get rid of. I don't know where I'm supposed to look versus not look. I don't know. I'm just charging. It's giving you tunnel vision. When I'm trying to find an understanding and meaning of life, I need all eyes open everywhere to feel, to receive, and to bring in everything around me. And so when I stopped running. I stopped being that way. The universe came to me And this is how I always knew I wanted to start a podcast, but like, this is how the name and the purpose of this podcast came, or we would be talking about business right now. And as much as I love business, like, it doesn't feed my spark. It doesn't feed my soul. Self, teaching, learning, spirit, astrology, all of those things feed my soul. So I was like, let me just pause for a second and let the universe come to me. And when I did that, when I let the universe come to me, it was just miraculous. I wasn't charging, I wasn't confused. I felt the breeze. I smelled the flowers. I tasted the food. I felt the love. And that was a huge shift in my journey. It was so much love for myself. I was able to be kind, gentle, step into my energy that I want for myself, and just, it allowed me to just enjoy the being. And I think a lot of times we get caught up on the becoming. We must become, that we forget about the being. Like, we're human beings and we should be allowed to enjoy just being. Like, it is exhausting to constantly deal with the distractions that we have of today. I honestly feel bad for some of the future generations, to be honest. I mean, just in my opinion, because when I stopped and I paused, I was allowed to be gifted my understanding and my clarity and my happiness and my as you guys could call it, a purpose. And I removed all distractions. I removed myself from social media. I removed myself from other businesses. I removed myself from constantly giving energy to everyone else around me. I removed myself from all of these things. And right now we are constantly being faced with, you should have 7 streams of income. You should be flipping houses. You need to do affiliate marketing. You're just leaving money on the table. You're still doing email marketing. That's old. We should come over here and do this. You're leaving money on the table. Oh my goodness, write a book. You should have a course. Why don't you have a course? You should do this. You should do that. You should do that. It's like, oh my goodness. People just can't be average. You can't just have a life. You can't just be. You can't just be anymore. And when I removed all of that, it's removed a lot of my anxiety and fear. And when I removed all of that, it was like, poof, the universe was open now for myself. There were so many opinions about what my purpose or ideas of who I should be around me that I couldn't hear my own. It was so loud, so constant. And honestly, if you are doing that still, I don't know how you're doing it. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to get out of marketing. I couldn't do it anymore. I felt like I was manipulating people. I felt like I was pushing people to get things. I felt like I was confusing people still. And I was just being one of those voices, those opinions and all the things in people's head. And that wasn't the person I realized, because some people are okay with like being that way and like it gets them excited. It didn't get me excited. It made me sad. And it didn't align with my values. So I had to remove myself from that situation. I honestly sat down. I sat down with my idea notebook. So I have a notebook that is completely blank pages. I don't like lines. Lines hold me back from my potential, I feel. So I have a notebook. I call it my idea notebook. Get one if you don't have one. And it has, in this book, is completely blank pages. So it could be like a sketchbook, right? Like, I think I got it from, I don't know, a store of some kind. We'll just not say the name, that most things are under $5. Anyways, I got it from like Five Below or something like that. Anyways, it was the best thing ever. So inside this book, I started breaking down all the things that my mind told me I could be, right? All the things I thought I wanted out of life, and my purpose or my spark, or how I wanted the world to see me, how I wanted the world to receive me. So that's a great question. That should be your first question at the top. How do I want the world to receive me? How do I want the world to see me? To receive and to see me. What do I want to give the world? Right? So all of these things need to be answered before you understand what your purpose is, or what your path is, or what your end goal is. And even hell, maybe even your why. And so I was breaking down all of these things. I mean, I literally went from being a business consultant to a marketing consultant to even doing travel agent. I mean, all of these things that I could break down, and I was like, I could be all these things. Because at the end of the day, Ashley believes in Ashley, and Ashley is going to be freaking successful, and she's not going to let anything hold her back. So I can be any freaking thing. Honestly, at the end of the day, if I really wanted to be an astronaut, I know that I could because I believe in myself now. After reaching self-actualization, after reaching clarity, building self-esteem, all the work that I've done on this self-discovery journey. So it was so hard to decipher, what is my purpose going to be? What is my end goal going to be? How do I want the world to receive me? How do I want them to see me? And what do I want to give them? Because I feel like that's so important. I am the type of person, I'm a little bit of a martyr. So like, I literally will sacrifice myself for the good of anything. It could be a belief. It could be something. So I have to really watch what I give, because I will just completely give up something. So it's like, is it worth it to you, Ashley? Or are you just going to martyr the shit out of this for no reason? Like, what are you doing? You going to die on this hill? Which hill are you dying on here? So that really helped bring clarity. When I wrote down, I mapped it out. I did one of those old school spider web maps. You know, I don't know if you guys had those. I'm a 90s baby. Late 80s baby, 90s grow up baby, I guess. I mapped it all out. It gave me so much clarity. It allowed me to see what I did, the pros and the cons of each one. So I had 9 things that I had wrote out, and I did the pros and cons of each one. I first started with placing myself in the middle of the middle circle. Then I wrote inside this circle what I wanted the outcome to be. I wrote the answers. I wrote the answers to all of those questions I just told you to ask yourself. So inside that circle, I wrote the answers. Around the circle, I drew lines to all the things I wanted. Oh, and I'm sorry, it's not 9. It was 12 or 13. It was 12 or 13. All of these different things I wanted to be. And I don't even think that's all of them. And so, or things that I could do or put my energy towards. And I know that I cannot put my energy towards everything at once. We can do all the things, but just not at once. So I'm like, what is plan A, Ashley? What do you want? What do you want? I feel like the Notebook, like he's like, what do you want? And when I did that, after I wrote them all down in a circle, okay, so the next step, I listed them. So instead of having the map, the spiderweb map around it, I listed them all out. And beside each one, I wrote the pros and cons. I wrote the pros, what do I get out of it? And then the cons, like one I couldn't do from home. Another one I could do from home. Some it would take me a long time to build up any type of income. Is it worth it? Others, I would still have to be on social media a lot. It was just, I really broke it down and weighed out the options. This one's going to need a lot of money to start up. This one's not. And I really wrote out the options on what I wanted for the end goal. Then I went back over that list. I marked out the ones that are on that list that I was like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I came down to the bottom and I remade that circle, that little map, and I gave myself a whole day to think about it. I came back. I marked out 3 more of them. So I got down to 3. I took those 3 and I combined them into one thing. And that is what you're listening to right now. That is how I'm here. This is what I do. This is the Virgo analysis that you see firsthand of exactly how I figured out what I'm defining, what my purpose is. And that is to help people. Obviously, there's a lot more depth to that for myself, but overall is helping people. And I know that this clarity for myself is going to keep growing, as I know it's going to keep growing for you. So starting somewhere, really laying it out, allowing the universe come to you, allowing yourself to just be before you start charging forward. Just be and see what the universe says. See what it's telling you, but don't just jump for anything that it tells you. And don't allow the thousands of opinions and voices that you're hearing on websites, emails, social media, friends, family, people in your life to distract you from what you want. Because I wouldn't be here speaking to you right now if I had. At all. I would still be doing videography, or I would still be working for the county. And none of those are wrong, but they were wrong for me, right? Because there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5 at all. There's nothing wrong with doing videography at all. At all. These were great things. I was helping people either way, but it wasn't the type of help that I wanted to do. So yeah, that's just something for you to think about and for you to take and run with. I hope that truly helps you. I hope it helps you find clarity, which you deserve. And I hope that your purpose or your spark comes to you with such brightness, such kindness and love. It makes you feel the deepest joy and excitement and gives you a deep understanding of yourself. So go be great, y'all.